Kritika, first of all, I am so glad that we can finally do this interview. And a warm welcome to you on Filme Shilmy.
Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. I've only seen you interviewing other people and I've seen so many of your shows, but it's nice to finally chat with you.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. Kritika, it's been quite a momentous time for you. I mean, just some time back, you made your Bollywood debut, and you were obviously seen in a very prominent web series. Would you say this is a period that's been a long time coming for you?
I don't know, man. I don't think I can say that for myself, but this is a period that I've hoped for and waited for quite a bit. I think I'm very choosy. I take long breaks, and I'm very clear about what I don't want to do. I actually never know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do. So, so I'm finally in a phase where I feel like I'm getting to do stuff that I'm getting the kind of work that I've been wanting to be a part of, and yeah, all that patience is sort of paying off, I'd say.
It's really interesting you say this because I was reading up, I think an interview or an article or something, where you were speaking with someone, and apparently, following your stint in television, you had signed three films which never actually took off, right? So at that point, how did you feel? I mean, reflecting back now at that time, I mean, have those sentiments changed or those views changed at all?
Everything's changed because one has evolved so much, even creatively and otherwise. I think even my decision making process has changed a little bit. Um, uh, so luckily for me, I didn't ever go away from television, right? Like I used to take these breaks and I signed films. They didn't take off, but I went back to TV, did a show, then again got out again, got out there, auditioned some more, signed something else. That didn't happen. Went back to TV. So I did this a couple of times, and so I was never really still, and never really, sitting wondering, oh my God, what am I going to do next? That didn't happen, luckily for me. And also, I think I started taking this risk, these chances only when I was in a secure place, financially and otherwise. I think I've done enough television for me to know that this is a space that's open for me. This is my comfort zone. I have work here. I love working here. People have enjoyed my shows, and I have touchwood, a great bunch of people following me who are so encouraging, and so much love that I get for whether it's Kitni Mohabbat Hai or Kuch To Log Kahenge or Reporters. It's still, people are still watching those shows. So I have an audience here. And that's when I started to kind of take these risks of, taking a break, going auditioning. And things didn't work out for me initially for whatever reasons. I mean, I signed some films with like big production houses, like studios that you wouldn't expect. I mean, you wouldn't expect these films to not take off, but they didn't. And so I came back to TV, and after a point, I was just, I think after Chandrakanta, I decided to just take a break, just actively not do TV, because I, not for any other reason. I mean, I've been on the medium for more than 10 years. I feel like I've explored all sides, everything that television has to offer, as an artist, and I wanted to do something different now. So, but luckily for me, web has suddenly become this big thing. There are such great stories, such great opportunities. So I'm trying to make the most of that now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when acting or working for television, I feel actors are quite susceptible to getting stereotyped or bracketed into a particular image, into a set image. But I think the most incredible thing about you is that you've never allowed it to happen. I mean, was that something you consciously avoided to do? Like, did you consciously avoid to bracket yourself or get into that particular mold as well?
Yes, from the very beginning. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm very sure of what I don't want to do. So this was something I understood very early on, and for two reasons. A, I'm somebody who I don't think I can do one thing for years. I'm somebody who I think I get bored. I need my work to be very exciting. I want to get up and be excited to go to set every day. It just can't feel like a job to me because that was the point of being an actor, to not do a job like that. So one thing is that, and the other, I consciously never. So I've never been a part of a show for more than 2 years. Even
Mm.
when these shows were doing great, and I could have done some more of it. I have, I've consciously like not done one show for 5 years, 10 years, taken multiple leaps, and aged myself on screen, and
Mm.
just it's something that I wanted to stay away from. I also feel like a story only has a life of a
Mm.
few episodes, a few hundred
Yeah.
in Indian shows, but beyond that, it's just then it just becomes like, then it's just tracks, it's just things being written on the spot. It just, you move away from the soul of the story, you move away from what you started um, telling in the
Right.
first place.
Mm.
And that's something that doesn't excite me too much, so I stayed away from that. I also was very clear that I did not want to do any regressive television. I did not want to do I was always, I picked my roles in the sense that I wanted to play female characters that have agency, or that have ambition, or that are doing something. They're not just engaging in a sasbahu fight, or
Yeah.
or turning into an animal with some spell. I just, and no offense, I mean, that is also, that is something that's really enjoyed by people. I mean, look at the TRPs. I know that those shows do very well. They have an audience, and
Mm.
television is business at the end of the day. So people know the pulse, and they make more of those because they work. They just don't work for me as a person. Like, as an
Fair enough.
artist, they don't work for me. I don't see
Mm.
myself in them, and I stayed away from them from the very beginning.
Mm.
So I tried to choose offbeat stuff on TV, which is
Mm.
very difficult because television is massy in general.
Yeah, it is very commercial in that sense, and I think it
Yes,
does. But Kritika, in the West, actors do television and film, and yes, still considered just to be actors. However,
right.
in India, especially in Indian entertainment, we seem to bracket them and call them TV actors, and there's always that tag that comes along with it, rather than just calling them actors. Why do you think that such conditioning exists? And with the emergence of the web, do you think that's changing now?
Uh, it is definitely changing now, because now actors are doing, you're seeing the same actors in different mediums. You're seeing people on web, on TV, and films as well. So that is changing slowly, but in my experience, not so much. It's not such a drastic change, because I still see people have this preconceived notion, and
Hmm.
I've been very vocal about it. And even though everybody says that, oh no, this is just, it's gone, it's a thing of the past, I don't think so, because I've faced it, and I think people do have this prejudice against
Hmm.
television actors, and I understand where it comes from, because a lot of television is just, it's just focused on quantity, and it's focused on a certain kind of, a formula. Like, if one thing starts doing well, then you see 15 shows like that. So
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
it just, you get slotted, you get categorized, you get, people think that that's all you can do. It's difficult for them to imagine you doing anything else. So I understand where it comes from, but yes, it definitely, it exists. Although I hope it's changing. I've again made conscious efforts for it to not be like that for myself. I want to work on different mediums. I want to be known as an actor. Not that there's anything wrong with being called a TV actor, but just, it just
Yeah.
comes with a little, it comes with a baggage. Even though I don't have it in my head, but the decision makers or casting directors or directors have it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to, like, I'm like this greedy actor at this point who's trying to do a little bit of everything. So I did that film. I'm open to doing more films right now. I mean, because of, how 2020 and 2021 have been, not many films have
Yeah.
are going into production.
Hmm.
Web has been really big. There's some good stuff that's coming to me, some very interesting different kind of scripts, all different from each other. So I'm trying to do that. I want to break that for myself, for sure,
Hmm.
but I don't know if it's happening for everybody.
Yeah. And I think.
Because I think even when things started, like, you see a lot of television actors who've transitioned to films, and it's a very subjective journey. It wasn't like that for me. I think I still face that prejudice because I've done television for 10 years. So it's so for
Exactly.
somebody who moves out just after a show, for them it's much easier than for someone who's been on TV and who's always going to be recognized by their TV characters.
Hmm. And I
So
feel
it's
in
very difficult to say for everyone. Like, it's subjective. I'm finding my own way here. I have no idea what the trend is.
No, I totally understand that. But I also think that, sometimes an actor does become a prisoner of their image. I feel like there's always a tendency to become that. But I think as long as you consciously try to sort of do whatever you feel comfortable with, and I think to do roles which challenge you as well, I think that's also the key thing, isn't it? And obviously opportunity is another thing as well. So,
Yes.
I mean, that's probably a major thing actually, right? I mean, opportunity is the big thing. Would you agree as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think also, like you rightly said, you evolve creatively yourself, and you figure out what is the kind of stories that you want to be a part of. What do you want to say with your work? And then it also depends on what do you have on your platter, because you can only choose from what comes to you. You or you can just make something, but which some people are doing very well. But so yeah, it's the marriage of these two things. It doesn't
Yeah.
it's not very common. It's not often that you find something that aligns with your sensibilities and feels right for you at this point in your career. And I am very conscious of this. I'm infamously choosy. So I wait for something. I wait for projects to tick all these boxes for me without before saying the yes.
Sure, sure. I understand that. Now, my early memories of you, Kritika, was, of course, Arohi in Kitni Mohabbat Hai. I mean, I think I was a huge fan of that show. Now, I didn't actually have any TV Imagine, but I would consciously go out of my way to visit a family member's house to watch that show. So that was my earliest memory of you. And of course, Pyar Ka Bandhan as well. I don't think any,
Ooh.
not many people talk about Pyar Ka Bandhan.
But yeah.
I loved that show, and that was like literally one of my favorite shows. So I think those were my earliest memories of you as well. But of course, Kitni Mohabbat Hai did kind of catapult you to a new success, and it was your, in a way, your breakthrough role and show. What was life like before that show, and what changed for you personally, emotionally, after you did Kitni Mohabbat Hai?
It feels like it's a blur now. It's been so long, and love for Kitni Mohabbat Hai still keeps coming in. It's almost as if, like, it's been so long, but if I open my social media right now, it feels like, oh wait, somebody's still watching this show somewhere, because that's the reach that Kitni Mohabbat Hai has.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. I mean, I have a lot of gratitude. What can I say? I've received a lot of love, and you're right. It did put me in the center of things as far as television was concerned. I think that show did wonders for Karan and me as actors, because it just put us in that spot where instantly we started getting we, of course, we got popularity with it, recognition with it. We learned a lot from it, but also in terms of work, we we started getting the kind of things that we wanted to do, and it was a big gear shift in our careers. um, it's I don't even know where to start.
It's
How
made you speechless.
it's yeah, it has. And while you're the thing with television is that the shoot is so crazy that when you're filming for something, you have no idea what impact it's having on people. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening outside of your set, you have no clue. So it really just like hit us like a storm, because 6-7 months we were just shooting for this show. We were literally shooting for the same day telecast or the next day telecast at times. And then you start going out, and suddenly you're being recognized and people know you, and you're getting like fan mail, and my Arohi salwar kameez were being sold in the market, things like that. It was just people would come to me and say, I got my nose pierced because you wear this nose ring, and just things like that. I was very young.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it's overwhelming at that age and at that time, because you don't I personally didn't watch a lot of TV growing up.
Mm,
I didn't know this was the kind of impact that this medium has on people. It's a very influential medium.
yeah. Mm,
So that's something that only Kitni Mohabbat Hai made me realize.
wow.
Uh,
That is.
But it was, like I said, it was so much so soon that it was overwhelming, and now it feels like a blur. It's like, I don't know, man. And then I just went to shoot again.
Yeah, I'm sure even if you watch back the episodes now, right, I'm sure you probably think that was a very different me as well. So when I look back at old videos of me as a child or something, or anything that's in the past, I kind of have that sort of moment where I'm just like, yaar, मैं कितना अलग था. Like, I don't know if you
Yeah,
ever,
yeah.
do you ever feel the
No,
same as well?
okay, I don't enjoy watching myself. I am very I actually don't even like hearing my voice. I have issues, clearly. I'm very critical, and whenever I watch something old, I'm just cringing all the time. I'm like, oh my god, I shouldn't have done it like that, and oh my god, what is this eyeshadow? What am I? So here's the thing, right? I was a complete outsider. I'm an outsider. I came to this world. I had no idea. I would just sit in this chair, let people do whatever they wanted to, go. I learned everything on the job. I learned acting on the job. I wasn't a trained actor. So I have literally grown up in life and as an actor, and it has all been documented in these shows, and they're going to live on the internet forever. Even my really horrible fashion choices. I can't help it. I can't do anything about it now. But uh, but it's also sweet. It's like, when I have days when I'm feeling low, it just sometimes it helps just looking back and seeing where you started, and that kind of just keeps you going.
Yeah.
And I think it's also cool to be like, "Yare, main kitni alag thi," because then you appreciate your present self a little more.
Yeah, definitely. Oh God, for sure. I think it does definitely. It makes you realize as well how far you've come. I think
And
as
also
well.
like kindness of people. I mean, people loved. I think we were making. I think we were still learning. I don't think we were, great actors or anything. But there was some honesty in it. There was some innocence in that. There was a
Yes.
rawness. I think that kind of like translated, and people could connect with it.
Mm.
So, and just that honesty has taken that show this far. It wasn't like we were doing anything extraordinary. It was just, I think, very, very honest, and that came through.
Absolutely, for sure, and I think that definitely does translate as well. Now, Mithra was your Bollywood debut, as we mentioned as well, and I think I mean Nitin Kakkar. I mean, what a great director he is. I mean,
What a guy.
he has got such a great eye for new talent. I had recently just tweeted this actually, and it's incredible with the way he's got a good eye for good talent, like yourself in Mithra, Pranutan and Zahir in Notebook, Alaya in Jawani Jaiman. It's amazing how he has that. But when Mithra happened for you, what were your expectations like when you got that film? And how did that change after the film, fared at the box office and critically as well? How did those emotions change at all?
It was a small film. It was always envisioned to be this small, sweet, heartwarming film.
Right.
So it wasn't like one big blockbuster launch or anything. And
Mhm.
I knew that. I think I'm fairly realistic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I did that film for the reasons. I mean, for a few reasons. Number one was Nitin Kakkar, because I loved Filmistan, his first film. He won a
Yes.
national award for it. What a great film!
Incredible.
I met him, and in that meeting, I think I was just like, I want to be a part of this film. And he also decided in that meeting, and just the next day I got a call from him saying that, we'd love to have you on board. And I got the film. That's how I got it. It was that simple. I really liked the script because this was, again, television spoils you. Television spoils you as a female actor, I would say, because television's so much about women. You're so used to playing the protagonist. You're so used to having meaty parts and doing things and leading things. So, so just I feel like this, my character Avni in Mitro is she's a leading lady. She's doing something. This is a story of this guy and this girl, and she, influences the plot, the journey, immensely. And
Mm.
that was important to me. I didn't want to be a part of I didn't want to be a small part of a big film. I did not want to be a
Yeah.
wallflower. I
Mm.
I just thought that it didn't make sense to do so much TV and then make the transition to just be, someone in a song and two scenes in a opposite a big star. It wasn't attractive to me. And the films that I had signed and didn't take off were also like, I would say high concept films, interesting subjects, but they didn't happen. So I think Mitra was supposed to be my first film, and it did. And I was I was so happy with the experience of the film that the reception did not really. I mean, of course, I would have liked it to reach more people,
Mm.
which it did when it came on Prime Video later, and when it started coming on television. Lot more people discovered the film. I
Yeah.
would have liked more people to have watched, for it to have reached more people, but that's okay. I think I got what I wanted, and if I could go back and make a choice, I'd still make the same choice and do that film.
And this is one thing that I like about you, Kritika, like you actually said, is the fact that you are realistic. You're very honest to yourself. And I think that's the biggest, I think, quality in a person, I feel generally. Do you think it's that honesty that you have with yourself that helps you to deal with success and failure, both hand in hand?
I think so. I hope so. And you have to. I mean, yeah, failure definitely. You have to. I'm borderline pessimistic. I'm just always prepared for the worst. I'm so prepared for the worst that because I'm conscious, I'm always trying to protect myself from hurt. I'm a very sensitive person. I get attached to my work. uh, I think all actors are sensitive. Like, you have to be sensitive to be able to emote. So I just like to keep my expectations low, and keep it real. And then, of course, it's easier to then face rejection and pick up the pieces and just take another step.
Mm. And you're open to criticism as well. In another interview that I read, actually, you said you're quite open to criticism. And, I think even after you, I think you said your parents and your very close circle of friends are those people that give you the most honest feedback, right?
My
Is that
parents
so?
are the worst critics ever. They love everything I do. They love anything I'm in. They'll watch, multiple, they'll watch repeats of the show, all 4 or 5 repeats that used to come on TV when, all that. Now they watch everything on YouTube and everything online. So my parents are the worst, but I do like feedback. Again, because I'm not a trained actor, and I feel like I've not, I didn't, so I never got that, right? I've learned on the job, and I think it's criticism, good feedback kind of just helps you make notes and work on things better. So
Mm,
um and you're always going to get that. I mean, you can't please everybody all the time. So
yes.
I get a lot of love, and because I get a lot of love, I should be open to criticism as well, and
Right. Yeah.
take it well. Yeah.
Mm, it's true. No, definitely. I think it's. I mean, not just for actors. I think for anyone, generally.
Exactly. It just makes you better at what you do. I think it's
Yeah.
very important. The good feedback
Mm.
loop is just essential for you to keep growing.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So quite a few times, I've heard you kind of say that, you learn on the job. You're not, you haven't got actual training per se in acting and all of that, and you claim to be an outsider as well. So, which you said you are. When was the moment you first decided to become an actor, and why at that point did you feel that this profession was perfect for you?
I decided to become an actor after I became an actor. So I lucked out like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just really lucky, very privileged. I was just at the right place at the right time. I was auditioned outside my college. I was bunking college when when some people came up to me and said, "Would you like to audition for this part?" And I did that, and they said, "Oh, now can you move to Bombay?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I moved to Bombay because at 18 you're just brave and very hopeful, and everything is just like rosy, and you're just you look at life through your rose tinted
Glasses.
glasses,
Mm,
and you yeah, and you want to be a rebel, you want to do things differently and all that. So I think that bravado somewhere just brought me to Bombay. And it's only when I started acting, I think the first day on the sets of Yahan Ke Hum Sikandar, which was my first show,
yeah.
my first day, I kept waiting for my shot to come. It didn't, so I did not shoot the first day. But I was just fascinated. I was besotted by this world of filmmaking, and not just what happens, not just being in front of the camera. In fact, that was really like difficult for me. I was very nervous
Mm,
because I'd never faced the camera before. I didn't know how to hit the mark or take light, or I didn't understand any of these things. But just the whole process, just so many of these moving pieces coming together to make something that's great and that influences so many people. And
mm,
it just is the magic of filmmaking. I caught that bug on the very first day, and even then it was more like a fan. So I was somebody who
Right.
used to just sit behind the director on the monitor all the time, keep watching what's happening. What is the cameraman doing? Why are they lighting like this? What is this Jimmy Jib? All those things. And slowly, I think I fell in love that day. And then this realization came to me only after a few months of doing this, that this is where I belong. This is what I want to do. This is something that I'm never going to be bored of. This is something that comes easy to me. So also because I'm lazy, then just this. I just didn't want to be away from this world. So I knew that even if I don't make it as an actor, I want to do something related to this.
To this, right? Yeah, and I think this is very interesting as well, because I think we kind of touched upon this as well before, like I feel like, in acting, especially in your profession as well, I feel there's patience is key, right? Because there comes a point where you might be really really busy with work, and then there might be a complete dry patch and you don't get anything, and it's intizar after intizar. So at the time when things perhaps got a bit quiet for you, or maybe things weren't working out for you, what kept you motivated then? And how did you not give in to perhaps this mode of feeling self-pity and feeling distraught? How did you avoid falling into that negativity?
Oh, being an actor is an act of hope. It's every day is like that, I think, even when things are going well. And Of course, I've had these days where things, you know I never had the survival struggle, but I had this period of artistic struggle. I mean, I think I'm still, kind of like finding where you you want to do certain kind of work and you have to wait for it. You have to be patient for it. And it's just, there's not, I don't know, man. I don't have a formula, to be very honest. I mean, there is actually no great tip that I can give. It's just, I think, a good network of people, your family, your friends, that makes a lot of difference. And you have to, only if you really really believe that this this is the thing you want to do and nothing else, is when you should just
Hmm.
keep at it. Otherwise, always have your options open. Otherwise, always have something to fall back on. I didn't, but there was just this some sort of like, belief that it comes and goes. But I think overall, I don't know. It's just this kind of this almost irrational belief that I have that things will work out,
Hmm.
and that sort of just keeps me going. So there's, I don't know. I have days. I mean, of course, especially after facing a rejection or something not doing well or something not going your way, you start questioning your entire life and all your choices and decisions.
Hmm.
But then people around you really help. Looking back at where you started really helps. Just making a note of where you see yourself and how much that means to you really helps. So just little things like that, and just taking each day at a time, and just
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And I think that saying "this too shall pass" is so wonderful. I think it gives a sense of hope, and it gives a sense of courage as well, that we too can overcome whatever it is, whether it's good, the bad, the ugly, anything, that we can also do
Yeah.
this thing, which I think is very, very true, and especially with what you said. But one thing I've noticed about you, Kritika, is that you're fearless. Your attitude is very fearless. Like, you're bindas. I think that's the best way I can describe you. There's also this sense of sassiness and wittiness to you as well. So, I mean, has this always been you, or is this a sort of like attribute that's sort of developed in you over time?
I don't know. I think we should ask some people who know me. I don't know. I can't tell. It's definitely something that is just, I mean, of course, like I said, you're ever evolving. So I am. And it's so much of, what you consume, what you read, what you watch, people you hang out with, just all these things. You're constantly like shaping yourself, even with characters, different characters that you play. I think you take a bit from here and a bit from there. It just happens
Yeah.
subconsciously almost, that you are these different personalities all rolled in one. And So I don't know if I was always like this, but it's going. It's going.
चल रहा है ये चल रहा है अभी no, but I love it. I absolutely love this demeanor. I think it's great. But actually, now that you have obviously, now that you have broken through in terms of like cinema, obviously television, you always were great and you did great too. But now that you've sort of made that sort of transition, if I can say, what sort of roles and work are you most keen in doing in particular? Is there any particular role that you would really, really like to play?
It's a great time to be an actor. I think we're in this phase, especially because of the web, that there is just so much going on. There is such brilliant writing, and such great scripts, different genres, concepts that you could not have even thought about. So I don't limit myself by, you know, making a list of things that I want to do. I'm constantly these days surprised by the stuff that's being made and that comes to me, and I'm reading and I'm like, wow, oh wow, somebody's attempting this now. So it's just this great time, so I'm open to everything, to be honest. I Like I said, I don't want to be limited to one medium. I want to be known as an actor, not a TV actor, film actor. I don't think that breakthrough has happened, but I'm happy with the place that I'm in right now. I'm happy with the kind of stuff that's coming to me. I'm happy with the stuff that I'm currently shooting for, and I can't wait to share that with everyone. I can't tell much. So there's already a lot of variety, and that's what's interesting to me. I think I don't want to repeat myself, so I want to keep doing things that are different, where people see me. I also feel like I don't want to bore my audiences, and I myself don't want to be bored doing the same things over and over again. So I try to choose scripts and characters where I'm not repeating myself, where I'm getting to explore something, learn something new, and that's the only thing.
Hmm.
There are more creative people, producers, writers, directors who have a better idea of what kind of stories work now. So I'm just at this point, I'm just waiting for. I mean, I'm just really impressed by the stuff that's being done already. So I'm trying to see where I fit and what fits
Hmm.
in my journey.
Now, I know you said you can't really announce anything, but can you give me a hint of what we might see you in next? Just so that the fans can
So
celebrate it and be excited
So
for it.
people saw me in like this really like in this gray, intense character in Tandav. I think the next thing going by, because we finished shooting for it. Uh, just 2 days of shooter left. So I think the next project that comes out is going to be a comedy. It's about this dysfunctional family, absolutely mad comedy. I don't think I've done this. I don't think people have seen me do a bit of comedy, in KMH2 and KMH2 mostly, but this is completely different. So this is and very different from what I did in Tandav. So this is going to be it's a mad character. Then there's something else which is intense, which is dark,
Hmm.
gritty, and a powerful, sort of a. I can't tell you more. I just can't.
I think I think I
There's,
think I got it. I got it. Don't
yeah,
worry.
you got it. You got it.
I'm
Okay, great. Because any more words that I now say would make it very.
yeah, no, no,
Because
no, no.
let's just wait for it to come out, and I don't want to. uh,
No,
and
absolutely.
then there's another show that I was filming for currently that I can say it's announced already. It's called Hush Hush. It's a it's again it's a I can't tell you the story.
Right. Hush,
Uh,
hush.
Hush Hush. Yes, it's basically it's a beautiful story about female friendships, but not the kind of female friendships that you've seen on screen so far. It's also like interesting because there's a murder mystery at the center of it all, and you're seeing
Okay.
these beautiful female relation with these women who are friends and their equations and their lives and their complications, and so that's something that I'm currently shooting for. So yeah, these are
Wow.
the three things that are going to be out next.
That is
I don't know in
incredible.
what order.
And I think the cast as well of Hush Hush is amazing as well. I think we're all looking forward to that as
Yes,
well. I think it's going to be
yes,
incredible. I'm looking forward
yeah.
to that actually. So I think that's going to be fab. But honestly, Kritika, I mean, you know what? It was so lovely to have this discussion with you because I feel like whilst I was speaking with you, I felt like I went back to being that young me that used to watch like your series and sort of follow your work very closely, and I think just having this conversation took me on a very big nostalgic trip, and I think it's great that we're seeing such great talents like yourself and so many other actors who began in television and are now challenging themselves to different mediums and different roles. I think it's fantastic, and I really must congratulate you for that.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from you, who's you know seen my journey from the beginning, and yeah, thank you so much for your
No, but
wishes.
this was amazing, and wishing you all the very best for all
To you
upcoming
too.
projects. Lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you.